So talking about the open source models, there are a couple of ways you can access it. And one is using, and I will show you some of these platforms. Two very, very popular ones. One is Hugging Face and one is Ollama. I will talk about both the methods and show you a couple of demos of each one of them. Hugging Face is a huge repository of open source models. Hugging Face is a massive community. In fact, I think as part of the session I discussed, I will show you a complete end-to-end deployment on Hugging Face. We will see that how we can take a model, how we can take a complete end-to-end application, and how we can deploy the same on Hugging Face. We will see that as well as part of a demo. And if you see, if you take a look at it, what is Hugging Face exactly? Let me show you for a minute. So this is Hugging Face. It's a huge repository of models that you will find on Hugging Face. And you can go to Hugging Face. You can actually go to models, and you will find like close to a million, 1.56 million models. Different contributors have contributed, which is huge, right? Massive. And you can actually select what kind of thing you want to do. If you have a summarization task, let's say you want to do a basic summarization task. Okay, you can actually click on summarization, and you can actually choose what type of model you want to use. So very interesting. Okay, so very interesting how this works. Okay, you can see this is the BERT-based model. Okay, this is the another kind of model that is used for summarization. You can take any of these models right now, and it's very easy to use it. If you want to use the model, just click on it. It will give you some documentation in terms of what it is. These are all open source models. Okay, all open source, and you can go to use the model and use this model through Hugging Face Transformers library. Very simple. Can you see one line of code? So you can literally take this in Python. So we will come to the Python environment shortly. We can go to Python, install transformers, and we can directly use these models as it is. So this is a very, very easy way we can go and access these models. Okay, we can also fine tune it. In case some of you are wondering, Sayan, can we fine tune the models? Yes, we can. We can also fine tune the models. We don't just have to use them out of the box. We have got ways to go and fine tune the models. You can see what we are doing right now is we are taking the pre-trained model, but there are also ways we can go and fine tune the model. Okay, you can fine tune it manually. You can also fine tune it right within Hugging Face. See, there's an option we can go and fine tune the model. So there are ways to fine tune it also, by the way. Okay, so Hugging Face is a wonderful platform which we can use to access these models. And another way we can access the open source models is Ollama. We can also use VLLM, but Ollama is a simpler one which I wanted to show you. So this is how you can go and download these models locally. Remember how I was telling you that from a data privacy perspective, from a security perspective, it is very important to download the models. So this is how what it is. This is Ollama for you. And Ollama is a simple Windows install. You can go and install Ollama. Very simple. You can see this is Ollama, and you can go and download Ollama. Available for Mac, available for Windows. I have it installed already, so I can show you a small demo how it looks. And you can search for all the models that are available, and you can see these are all the latest models which are available right now. Okay, so these are all the latest models which are available. Okay, so Llama 4 was very recently released. If you all are aware of the latest updates, Meta released Llama 4 recently, and that has also made its way to Ollama. Llama 4 is a very capable model, by the way, and you will find all the top models here. If you just scroll down, this was 3 months back, right? I mean, you will see all the top models available, right? So DeepSeek was a very, very popular model 3 months back, right? So this was around January end to February. So you can see DeepSeek version 3, 671 billion parameters. So we can just directly download DeepSeek. Okay, and these are some lesser known models. DeepSeek R1 was a very, very popular one, right? So this is what really took the world by storm. This was a reasoning model, very, very powerful reasoning model. 42 million pulls, one of the highest ever. This was a very, very popular model, and it comes in multiple variants: 1.5, 7B, 8B, 14B, 32B, 70B, 671B. What is the meaning of these Bs? These Bs actually stand for billion parameters. So when these language models are released, remember I told you that these are open source models, right? So company like DeepSeek would have invested a lot of money in training these models, right? And they make it available for free, and you are free to download any variant of the model, right? So technically, it's a bit of a different thing. Technically, some of you who are coming from a deep learning world can relate to it. So parameters are nothing but weights and biases of a neural network. So when we say 671 billion parameters, it means that the underlying neural network that is powering this language model it is composed of 671 billion neurons. Sorry, not neurons, 671 billion weights and biases. So this is a very, very big model. And obviously, the bigger the model, the more the amount of size it will take. And you can actually take a look at it. The DeepSeek is a very popular one. That's why I'm showing this to all of you. And you can see that you can kind of get a little bit more in detail what it is, right? You can take a look at it. That if you download the 7 billion parameter model, it will take 4.7 GB of space. I know you might be laughing at it, but wait till I take you to 671. Look at this. 671 billion parameter model if I download. If I manage, if that too, even if I manage to, it will take 404 GB of space. And the best part is it's open source. You can actually do it. Given you have enough system resources, you can actually download this in your hard disk and you can run the model. But remember, if you try to run this model in your system, you need this much amount of RAM because you have to load the model and then run it, right? So disk space is one thing. 400 GB of disk space is very easy. Everybody will have it. But I don't think anybody in the class will have 400 GB of RAM. Okay, so nobody will have 400 GB of RAM. So you cannot just load this model in memory and run this. So these are all real challenges. Okay, so if you want to do it on premises, it is not that it's very easy. So just because these models are available doesn't mean it is very easy. So the setup is always a hassle, and which is why companies always prefer cloud or some kind of other solutions. Okay, so the on-premise local hosting and all this is a bit of a headache at times, and it might sometimes happen that you might end up paying a lot more in cost. Okay, so than paying, I mean, compared to paying OpenAI, the API fees, the per API based fees that you pay, the costing that you pay, it might be far more costly to set up a complete on-premises infrastructure. So although the model is free, although DeepSeek is free, you don't pay anything for using the model, but creating the infrastructure, hosting that, I mean, I mean, usually works out very, very costly in the initial phases, right? So this is also something that everybody should keep in mind. So you can actually download it very easily. You can see this is how we can download the models. Very simple to download the models. Ollama Run is what you can do. And I can maybe show you a small example. Go to my Windows PowerShell. I've already got Ollama installed. Um, you can actually go and say Ollama list. Sorry, what happened here? Just a minute, please. Excuse me. Um, I can actually go and I can actually say Ollama list, and this is something I just did as a small demo. So I downloaded a very, very small variant of it, 1.5 billion parameter. It's a very basic one, you can see. So I downloaded a very basic variant of it. So you can see the 1.5 billion parameter takes only 1.1 GB of space, right? So this is the model which I already downloaded. So when I go to my Windows PowerShell and when I see, you can see this is the model that I already have. And what I want to do, I want to run this model, right? How do you run the model? Very simple. You can just write this code. Very simple. So you just come all the way down, and this is the Ollama run. Okay, this is the very, very easy way you can run the model. Just say Ollama run and just give the model name. Okay, so in my case, it is R1 1.5, this one, right? So I can just use this name. So if you see when I do this, what will happen? It will basically load it in memory. It's a very small model. It'll hardly took like what 2 seconds, but you can imagine if it was a bigger model, 10, 15 GB, it would have taken a long time. But I want you to appreciate that this is completely running in my local machine. There is no connectivity I require. There is no network connectivity needed to make this work. This is running locally. Okay, so the privacy aspect is taken care of, but it's always a trade-off. You have to understand that you don't get the best of everything, right? It's always a trade-off, and here the trade-off is that it's a uh, the initial infrastructure cost will be very high because if you want a powerful model, then you have to set up a very, very powerful infrastructure. So I can go and ask a question. Yes, please. Huh. Yes. Yes. Huh. It's local. It's locally. There's no question of outside access. I mean, there's no way that you're sharing the data outside. You're not sharing the data outside. See, the moment you're calling them through the APIs, and that's a different question. You're sending your data to OpenAI servers and Anthropic, you're using the API. We have no control over our data there because that's hosted on their servers. This is local. You don't need any network connectivity for this to work, right? This is downloaded locally. This is working on your infrastructure. It's completely secure. There is no question about it. There's no way they will know what data you're using, and there is obviously no question about them using your data to train their models. Yeah. I mean, we can ask a question like, who is the current US president? Who is the current US president? Very interesting. And let's see what the answer is. Well, very interesting. It was very fast actually because it's a very quick model. 1.5 billion parameters is a very simple model. Any thoughts why the answer came out like this? Any thoughts? Anybody? Exactly. The data is available only up to July. This is very, very important because remember, all these language models are, there's a particular knowledge cutoff that is used, right? So all these language models, so particularly for the DeepSeek model, the knowledge cutoff was July 2024, right? I can in fact explicitly ask it the question, what was your knowledge cutoff? What is your knowledge cutoff? What is your knowledge cutoff? And it will actually say, my knowledge cutoff is July 2024. Okay, you can see this one. So my knowledge cutoff is July 2024. And what it means is, so it means that in this particular case, it will only be trained with respect to July 2024 data. Okay, it will be only trained latest as of July 2024 data. Okay, and uh, and only latest as of July 2024 data, it knows what has happened. And then you might have seen that like it took some time to train the model. Like you might be wondering, okay, July 2024 when the knowledge was collected, then why was it released in 2025? Because DeepSeek was released in 2025, the reasoning model, right? So it would have taken them 3-4 months to train the model. That is very normal. So with the tremendous amount of data you have, they would have taken 3 months to train the model, a month or so to fine tune the model, and all that. And that's how it was released. So there's always a particular timeline for this kind of thing to happen. Okay, so you can actually go and take a look at it. So there was a lot of controversy with OpenAI and all that. So I think there was a lot of talk that DeepSeek was copying OpenAI and all that. So you can actually see like how can I access using API. You can ask these kind of questions, and you can see. I mean, yeah. So this is actually a light one, so it doesn't give you too much information. So it's a smaller variant of it, but you can go and maybe use a more bigger variant of the model to get these kinds of answers. This very clearly says that it's a preview, cannot answer it. Anyway, so this part of the demo was to show you how to access the models. So we discussed how to access these open source models through Hugging Face. Very easy to access it. And the second thing we talked about is something through an on-premises thing we can also do in Ollama. If you want to set up an on-premises infrastructure, uh, I'm not saying DeepSeek is the best way to do it because there's a lot of, I think, yeah, I mean, DeepSeek is particularly very popular today. But if you talk about enterprise-wide, the projects that I've seen, I've worked on, a lot of companies actually use Mistral and Llama. That's why I mentioned this in my slides also. So Mistral and Llama are two of the most popular open source models that you will find out there. And the latest one that Llama has released very recently, the Llama 4 is very capable. Okay, so feel free to try this out. It's fun to actually work with it.